Whatever it is that comes into here can only be what this program says that it is. Not what this is, but a reduction that can be understood by the program. So what is this program that limits this? This is objective reality, and this is the limited portion of it that we can perceive. This program is called egoism. It's self-concern. What's in it for me? How is this going to affect me? As a result of this, the person is locked into a subjective view of all these things, only in relation to how it feels inside of the box. And at no point does it have any sense of what really exists outside of the box. So we've got a problem because every single one of our five senses works by exactly the same program. Not one of them can tell us anything about what exists outside of that program. So in order to know what surrounds us, what the greater reality is, we need to develop an additional sense. What the Kabbalists call a sixth sense. Not the sixth sense of the lady who tells your fortune, but a sense that actually can make contact with what exists outside, that is not bounded by that kind of programming. And in order to do that, well, you have to need to do it. It's not possible to work outside, to build something outside of this box as long as we are satisfied with what's in it for me. But the thought of creation has built in it laws that bring a person to this complete fulfillment. There is a motivating force that allows us to come to the point where we need to get out of the box. And if we understand both what we are, which is the will to receive what's in this for me, that we are built as egoists, but that's okay, because it's actually what we need in order to reach this fulfillment. There's nothing wrong with it. We just have to learn how to use it, how to harness it, and how to harness the force of development that the thought of creation has provided for us. So what is it that moves things in reality? What makes things happen? Nobody does anything in this world, whether it's an inner thing or whether it is a spiritual thing that is beyond this world. Everything that happens only as a result of, well, let's look at it. You're sitting there. You're maybe shifting in your chair, where your eyes are moving to. Maybe you've picked up something to drink. Any motion that you are now involved in is happening only as a result of one calculation. That you have become uncomfortable where you are, that a need has evolved in you, has appeared, and you have moved to a new position or a new situation that you believe will bring you more pleasure than the one that you were in before. This lack and the filling of pleasure and a force of desire is what motivates everything in reality. And this will eventually take a person from the corporal world, from our perceptions of the physical world, the limitations that we experience and the suffering that goes along with it. And it will bring a person, if properly used, past that barrier and into the spiritual world in this way. We all feel desires and we feel them change, but we don't really pay attention to this system that is placed in us by nature well enough so that we can understand what it's doing for us. We all understand that our first sort of grasp of what pleasure is just survival type pleasures. The first category, we see pleasure as and require sex, food, and shelter. All of our efforts, our work, what we perceive around us, the whole goal of our lives has to do with finding and getting these things. And this is a desire that we have in common with animals. It doesn't require other people. We just need this to survive. And once we have this filled, we realize that life is about much more than that, and we can't be satisfied with it. And a second category of desires appears. This is a desire for wealth. Wealth is the accumulation of the first category, so that I'll never have to worry about it again. I will be able to control it. And once we fill this desire for wealth, we come to the feeling that, is that all there is? Something else grows in us. Now, notice that it's not simply that it's another desire that's growing, but it's a greater desire, one that encompasses the one before it. In other words, here we have a small desire and a small filling. And here we have a desire that is grown, and it requires a greater filling. And this one is incorporated in this one. So now, if I can't be filled by wealth, there's a new desire that arises in me, and that is a desire for power. This doesn't happen only to the individual in their lives, but it's happened to humanity as a whole throughout history. The whole scope of history has been the evolution of these desires. Power is the ability to control both this and this, all systems that will bring me the greatest collection of that. Now, this is political power, this is empire, this is control in my job. And once I have that, I can no longer be satisfied with it. I become empty. I feel a lack. And a fourth desire is placed inside of me, a greater, expanded desire for something that encompasses all of that, and that is knowledge. Knowledge is the barrier, in a sense, of what it is that we define as the physical world. These desires, 1, 2, 3, and 4, all have to do with what we perceive as pleasure, that is, what we are being filled with and what we want, what will satisfy us. Well, knowledge is science, it is religion, it's art, it's the pinnacle of what we consider to be what humanity could possibly achieve. And yet anybody who seriously delves into this very great desire and attempts to fill it eventually discovers that this is empty as well, that there are no answers in science for the real causes of things. Because there's no answer to purpose. There's only mechanical answers, and the answers only have to do with these desires. Religion, though it gives us beliefs, cannot give us access to what it is that we really want, a direct knowledge. And so once a person becomes empty as a result of having this fulfilled, something very different and very special happens. A new desire arises. But this desire is not a desire from this world. This is a desire placed within our heart, which is the sum of all desires that we have, both for this world and for what's beyond it. A desire is placed in us from a completely other level of development, from the greater reality. And what appears inside of our heart is a point in the heart. That's what the Kabbalists call it.